Fantastic. Couple of West Coast fighters, Nick Arce, 7-0, undefeated with 6 KOs against veteran Francisco Dominguez, 8-9 from Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. And there you see him, Francisco Dominguez, 28 years old. Interesting story with him. He is also a police officer in Ciudad Juarez. Wakes up at 5 a.m. to do his road work. Goes to work from 7 to 5, and then he does his gym work. That he just loves the sport of boxing, fighting since he was a kid. And, you know, police, that serves the money. Boxing, he said, I just love getting in there, mixing it up.
That's living the dream in a very real and visceral way.
Yes, it is.
I really admire the passion that these journeymen have for this sport. And, of course, we don't have a sport without them. We don't have guys like Nick Arce without him.
Yeah, Nick Arce needs a guy to give him rounds like Francisco Dominguez, but Dominguez doesn't consider himself a guy here to give him rounds. He said, I saw video of Nick Arce. He exposes himself.
He does.
And he said, because he's 19, I think I can do something. There you see him, Nick Arce. They call him in Spanish, La Calavera, the skull. That is what he is wearing right there.
I like that nickname.
Yeah, the West Side Boxing, where they're from, they call themselves the Marching Skulls. They call themselves the Marching Skulls. They're coming in here.
We will hear them.
Yep. 19-year-old Nick Arce.
Real nice guy. Very personable. Good interview. Good personality.
Yep. College
Friendly.
student.
Yep, college kid.
Look at the tail of the tape, Dougie.
Let's see how these guys match up. Arce is 10 years younger at age 19. He is 3 inches taller, and his wingspan at 71 inches, 5 inches longer than Dominguez's. We'll see if he can put that reach to his advantage.
And our ring announcer, Mark Krusky. And there you see the Marching Skulls. That's actually T-Dog Nava in the middle with the black cat. He fought on Friday night. He is now 2-0. Sparring partner of Nick Arce, the kid right there in the middle.
Fun prospect.
And Mark Krusky is ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. Today's action presented by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions. Sponsored by Cerveza Tecate, Born Bold, Casa Mexico Tequila, it's in the taste. And the movie Hands of Stone, the true story of Roberto Duran, starring Edgar Ramirez, Robert De Niro, and Usher Raymond, in theaters this August. And Carmelita Pure Coconut Water, it's natural and pure coconut. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this next fight is scheduled for 6 rounds of superweight action. Judges scoring the fight, Max DeLuca, Judge Fernando Villarreal, and Carla Kais. And now, introducing out of the blue corner, wearing red trunks, with an official weight of 127.8 pounds. His record stands at 8 wins, 9 losses. 2 of those wins coming by way of knockout. From Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, Francisco Dominguez. And now his opponent to my left, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 126.6 pounds, wearing black trunks, with an undefeated official record of 7 wins, 0 losses, 6 of those wins coming by way of knockout. He is the pride of Los Angeles, California. Let's hear it for Nick Arce. And once again, referee in charge of the action of the sound of the bell, Ray Corona.
Está bien. Touch gloves. God bless. Referee Ray Corona with the instructions. We're ready to go. 6 rounds in the super featherweight division between Nick Arce and Francisco Dominguez.
Ready.
Bethel Duran along with Doug Fisher in Carson, California. Nick Arce in the black trunks with the gold trim. Francisco Dominguez in all red. Arce, 19 years old. Dominguez, 29 years old.
And at 29, he's got that man strength. Arce still developing physically.
Second time that Arce has fought here at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. Last time he was here, fought Martin Alvarado, a journeyman who, Doug, we worked that fight, tagged him a couple of times.
Yeah, we were critical of his defensive technique and his hand placement. We thought he was susceptible to overhand rights and left hooks, and he was tagged by a lot of left hooks, but he closed the show with a left hook to the body to his opponent.
Yes, he did. He knocked him out in the second round. The last time he was in the ring was in February. Went the distance with a veteran in Luis Ruiz, his first 6-round fight. This is his second time he's gone 6 rounds, where his opponent Dominguez from Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, right across from El Paso on the border. Last fought a year ago, and he went the distance, lost a split decision 6-rounder against Ricardo Fernandez. But because boxing isn't his full-time profession, he is a police officer, that sometimes he has to turn down fights. But for this one with Arce, was giving a month's notice, so he knew about it, was able to make weight easy, and able to fully train for this one.
His physique looks pretty good, but you still wonder if ring rust is going to be a factor given that he hasn't fought.
On the flip side, Arce, all he does is condition and train. Is a part-time college student, only takes 2 classes so he can focus his efforts on the sport of boxing out of the Westside Boxing Club in Mid-Cities, Los Angeles. A little different approach though for Arce this time. Usually he comes out right away, a lot of pressure, a lot of punches. This time it looks like he's gauging himself, feeling out round.
I think it was good for him to go the distance. I think that was good for him. And that was a tough fight too. He had to really gut it out. Matter of fact, I might have had that fight a draw. I thought it was exactly
yes, you did.
And that close.
Against Ruiz, yes you did.
But he was in really good spirits afterwards. It's kind of like he got over a hurdle. You know, he did something he'd never done before as a professional. And, you know, to hear the final bell and to win a decision. You know, and I think that helped his confidence and maybe matured him a little bit.
30 seconds to go in the opening round, scheduled for 6. Arce in the black, Dominguez in the red. Uppercut. Arce gets hit with the jab, a little bit of a smile.
I like that he's using his reach. He has a decided reach advantage in this matchup. He's boxing tall, controlling the distance so far, but that head still looks dangerously exposed, Beto.
He keeps that left hand down.
That's both hands. Both gloves are down.
That's something we talked with his trainers, Jose and Nacho Salcedo. They said they're working with him about that.
I hope so.
Second round underway. Nick Arce in the black, Francisco Dominguez in the red. If you're just joining us, Arce, 19 years old. Dominguez, 8-9 with 2 KOs. He started his career in 2006, did Francisco Dominguez. He said he fought 6 times that year because he needed money. He was taking fights, Doug, on a day's notice at that time because he was trying to become a police officer. He needed money while going to the academy. He's been a police officer for 7 years now.
Dominguez has some character. He turned pro when Arce was 9 years old.
Body work from Nick Arce.
Arce wasn't thinking about boxing.
No, Arce started seriously boxing at the age of 14. he would go to the Westside Boxing Gym, which is around the corner from where he grew up.
And near high school, too, right?
Near University High School. And he was that annoying kid at the gym. And I'm using the word, that's the exact same word that his trainers, Jose and Nacho Salcedo, say. They actually, in Spanish, you call him the travieso, which, you know, travieso Arce.
Right.
That annoying, the one who's always messing around, the rascal.
Yeah, gym brat.
But he was the brat, but he wasn't the gym brat because he would just go in there while guys are wrapping their hands, he'd throw the tape away.
Oh, he wasn't even working out.
No,
oh,
he
man.
wasn't. And then one day they said, you know what, Nick, you talk a lot. You're messing around. You put some gloves on. Be serious about this. They put him in the spar. They saw something in him. And after that, they said, you have it. Let's throw you in a tournament. And the light bulb went on. After that, really dedicated himself. Lost some weight. He was really good. And they said now he's one of the first ones at the gym, last one to leave. Helps out the younger fighters at that gym. That gym has a lot of community members, like 8, 9 years old. And Nick is one of the kids that they look up to. 3 pro fighters out of the Westside Boxing. He, Tenochtitlan Nava, and Rafael Gramajo.
One thing he's always had is that left of the body.
Yes, he does.
He's adding other wrinkles to his game, but he was working that left of the body just a moment ago. And it's important to point out to fans seeing Nick for the first time and thinking, still looks a little raw to me. This is a guy who didn't really compete. I don't think he wasn't even competing in boxing 3 years ago.
No.
I mean, I don't think he had his first amateur fight until he was like 16 years old. So we got to keep that in mind. He started as a teen, and he's still a teenager.
Yeah, only about 50 amateur fights. But one of the things that his trainer said, once he gets serious and dedicated, he feels it and he wants it.
Nice counterpunching from Nick. Nice footwork as well.
Arce, Honduran and Salvadorian descent. Said he considers them Mexicans. Everybody else in that gym is Mexican, so he's Mexican too. He said, I represent for all of Central America. Good body work from Arce. Dominguez complaining of a headbutt. Corona said no, keep fighting. Arce coming in.
I think the body shot hurt Dominguez. I'm not saying the headbutt didn't affect him though.
Final seconds of the second round.
Right hand, followed by some body shots, and an accidental clash of heads. Dominguez was hurt by the headbutt. Arce takes advantage by tagging the body with his left and the head with his right.
We're in Carson, California. Third round of action between Nick Arce in the black trunks, Francisco Dominguez in the red. Arce starting to let his hands go a little bit after a couple feeling out rounds. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. Whether you're all over the United States, at a wedding, you're in Norwalk barbecuing, wherever you are. Thanks for joining us, Bethel Durant and Doug Fisher. Good afternoon of fights coming your way. 19-year-old Arce. Doug, you're right. He leaves that left exposed all that time, the left side of his face, by keeping that hand down.
Right, so when he's fighting a shorter guy, if they can slip his jab, they can come over with an overhand right and tag him, which I believe Dominguez did just a moment ago. You just have to time it right.
Panchito Dominguez is his name. Panchito, the nickname for anybody named Francisco in Spanish. Over 55 amateur fights, he said. He walked into the gym at the age of 14 because there was a lot of street violence in Ciudad Juarez, and he wanted to learn self-defense. And they said, you know, you can be a fighter. You don't just need self-defense. You can actually box, and you can do something with this. And he took it serious there as a teenager. Favorite fighter, Julio Cesar Chavez.
What a surprise.
Never would have guessed it from a Mexican fighter. Or Puerto Rican like Tito.
I wonder if Nick Arce, being of Salvadoran descent, is aware of Carlos Famoso Hernandez.
He is.
He is? Good.
I remember asking him that one time. He said, yeah, world champion Famoso. Now doing some TV work, living in Houston, Texas.
And of course, you know, his parents being from Central America, you know, the great Roberto Duran from Panama, Central America.
Starting to hear the chant for Arce. Arce sold over 300 tickets for this fight.
Not bad at all, young man. And a nice combination, nice 1-2 jab combination from Arce. And Arce back to controlling the distance, using his jab and his footwork. Loading up with his left hand to the body and the head. Might be starting that punch from a little bit too far out, but Dominguez hasn't made him pay for it yet.
Arce in the black trunks. Lunging. Dominguez, a veteran who's fought second time he fights in California.
Two throwback-style fighters, ready to face off.
This could be a barn burner of a fight.
As Francisco Vargas
Oh! Hard right hand by Vargas.
takes on Orlando Salido
Salido's just a smart, tough fighter, very tough guy.
in a fight that is bound to be action-packed.
Everything we might have expected to see.
Boxing After Dark, Vargas versus Salido.
Tonight's main event, Dougie, one a lot of people looking forward to. Undefeated Francisco Vargas against veteran Orlando City Salido.
I can't wait to see it. It's one of those fights you know is just going to deliver, just because of the mentality and the ring craft of both Mexican fighters.
We're in the fourth round. This was scheduled for 6 in the super featherweight division. And Doug, after these 3 rounds, how do you have it?
Oh, I have it 3-0 for Nick Arce. He's landed the harder punches throughout, and I think he's been the busier fighter as well.
19-year-old Arce in the black trunks.
I think Dominguez needs to step up his pressure as well as his activity.
He said he wanted to do that. He said that was the plan after watching film of Arce. It's one thing to plan it, one thing we actually in the ring.
I think he's surprised a little bit by Arce boxing as well from the outside as he is. Arce wasn't doing that last year.
Dominguez has the attitude of I'll go anywhere for a fight. He's gone to Puerto Rico twice, Colorado a couple times, Texas, gone down to Mexico, Yucatan and fought. He just loves the sport of boxing so much that at the hotel on Wednesday, I saw him there. He was just standing in the lobby and looking at any of the other fighters. He was taking pictures with them. So he saw Bandido, took a picture with him. Salido took a picture with him.
That's what I mean by living the dream.
Yeah.
It's like he loves boxing, and he can be a part of it by being a journeyman and being willing to get in there and face these undefeated young prospects.
Now he has his hands full with Nick Arce.
Arce's looking pretty sharp here.
Yeah.
He's not the most polished guy, obviously. He's got those technical and defensive flaws that we've pointed out. He's not the most athletic guy either. It's not like he's got great speed and power, but he is heavy-handed, and he's gutsy enough and he's smart enough to do exactly what he's doing right now.
Switching into the southpaw stance is Arce,
He's outclassing a more mature, more experienced professional fighter.
which a couple fights ago, he might have got into it and got caught by something or not looked as polished.
I think you're right.
Maturation process for Nick Arce, and he's looking good here.
Dominguez needs a jab. Even if he's out of range, he needs to work it on his way in.
Same thing we said about Arce 3 fights ago. He needs a jab. Tonight, throwing a bunch of jabs is Nick Arce.
kudos to Arce and his trainers, Jose and Nacho Salceo, for being good sports about constructive criticism and being willing to go and work on things.
Yeah, some trainers are very quick to let you know that they don't like your honesty.
Yeah.
Salcedo brothers come up and say, hey, what else do you have for us? I'm like, well, Doug is the expert. Go talk to Doug. I just do the reads and the billboards. Final seconds of the fourth round between Nick Arce and Francisco Dominguez in Carson, California on the night of Vargas and Salido.
Yes, keep jabbing, yeah? Keep jabbing, don't stop jabbing. Once you feel the ropes, spin and get out, extend your arms and you get out and put your chin down. Okay? Okay, when you go out, extend your chin down, extend your arm when you go out. There you go.
Arce working his jab, working 1-2 combinations, moving. He's in a neutral corner right now, but he's slipping punches off the ropes, and that was a nice escape route for Nick Arce.
Fifth round scheduled for 6. Arce and Dominguez. Beto Duran, Doug Fisher, a fight controlled by the 19-year-old in black, Nick Arce. Already saw wins today for Jonathan Navarro, another Golden Boy fighter at the age of 19. He had a second round KO. Alexis Rocha, 18-year-old Golden Boy fighter from Santana, California. He went the distance. His tough Anthony Woods, 4 rounds, but looked good in that one. And Gennaro Gomez out of San Diego, a first round KO.
That kid is one to watch.
And Oscar Duarte out of Chihuahua, Mexico, with the distance. 4 rounds, had a late drop of Luis Lizarraga. Looked good in his fight. Nick Arce here, those long arms. Keeps that left hand down really low, but when Dominguez isn't coming in doing anything, no threat of it, get away with that, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's controlling the distance. He's using his reach, and Dominguez hasn't figured out a way to negate it. He hasn't figured out a way to close that distance. And I think his lack of a jab is a big part of that equation, that conundrum for him. And even if he was working his jab, it wouldn't be easy to get inside on Arce, because Arce is not just sticking that jab out, he's sticking and moving. There's lateral movement in there. So Dominguez is having to constantly reset his feet. He's one of those guys who wants to be squared up right in front of you before he gets off with his punches.
Dominguez breathing heavy here.
Some of that's frustration, I think. It hasn't been like a really grueling fight.
No.
But it's, you know, the sun is strong out here, and Arce has landed some heavy shots like that uppercut.
Arce from the southpaw stance.
Yeah.
Switch it back orthodox.
Not bad. Arce is showing us some wrinkles here. I would say this is probably the best performance overall I've seen from Nick Arce.
His most controlled.
You want
most disciplined performance.
When you talk to Golden Boy matchmaker Roberto Diaz and Eric Gomez, vice president, about the way that they bring these kids up, Doug, you and I have seen this every single one of his fights. He now, at the age of 19, looks a little bit more mature. That's even something you could say about a 19-year-old. But in the ring, he's mature because a couple fights ago, he probably would have punched himself out trying to go this.
Oh, we'd be seeing a war right now.
An unnecessary one.
Right, and what I'm seeing from him, if I can sum it up in one word, I'll just say it's poise. Finally seeing some professional poise from Nick Arce.
Closing seconds of the 5th round, a fight being dominated by Nick Arce in Carson, California.
I've trained more world champs than anyone else in boxing history. Roberto Duran. He was no coward. I know how he began in life, what he willed himself to become.
Is that a real fighter?
Duran should fight no one but me.
You're Roberto Duran. Get in there and act like him.
Are we going to be champions?
Hands of Stone. In theaters everywhere, August 26th.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 6th and final round. Let's hear it. Good fight.
Sixth and final round between Nick Arce in the black and Francisco Dominguez in the red. Fight controlled by Arce. Arce crowd, the marching skulls as they call themselves. Westside Boxing in central Los Angeles. Urging their fighter on. Arce with a longer reach. Digging into that body now.
He's mixed his body punches in very well with his jabs and straight rights throughout this fight. Showing a lot of maturity and ring crafting. Still a lot of work to be done, technically speaking. There's still polish that's needed, but like you just ate that right hand. He's there for it.
Best punch of the night for Dominguez, but there's only one.
Yeah, and he's making Dominguez pay for that one shot, landing 2 and 3 punch combinations.
Panchito Dominguez in the red, but he came to fight and give Arce trouble. Hasn't really been the case, been all Arce. Arce starting to load up a little bit more on those punches there. Let him sit down, uppercut for him. Another uppercut from Arce. Dominguez corner urging him, saying, let's go, you're running out of time. I think Arce's the one hearing their instructions. Body shot, good one from Arce.
Well timed.
Yeah, we're looking at the way the sun is starting to set and everything with the tent. Did those shadows play a factor too, or is that only baseball?
Well, it's got to help if a shade falls on your corner between rounds. I would have to imagine.
Yeah, that too.
Imagine if you're in your corner, like if you're in the blue corner right now. There's a lot of sunlight. If that's in your eyes and that's beating down on your forehead, I think it could be a factor.
And that punch is coming from the shade too.
Yep, as the fight wears on. Nice punch variety from Nick Arce.
30 seconds to go in the fight. A good outing for Nick Arce. 19-year-old, that student at West LA Junior College. Sent it to the dental field.
And how domestic is that?
Right?
If you saw him, in street clothes, you wouldn't think he's a boxer at all. And when he adds to it, yeah, I'm studying to be a dentist. You're like, what? You're also a prize fighter?
There he is, a good one here.
Yeah, he's always been a ticket seller and attraction, and now he's starting to look like a legitimate prospect.
They go the distance, 6 good rounds between Arce and Dominguez. Hear the crowd, the Westside Boxing, the marching skulls, very loud for their fighter.
And he went to the corner facing the marching skulls, all decked out in bright yellow t-shirts today.
Good stuff from the young man.
Yes, it is.
And I tell you what, with his height and his reach, and you look at his frame, you think maybe as he gets older, he's going to fill out to be a junior